Hello, hello. Welcome back to Finding Spirit with Tabs. I'm your host, Tabs McCaffrey, and I'm a psychic medium here in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. On this show, I share my own personal experience as I grow and develop my psychic medium abilities, explore the Akashic records, chat about spirit guides, and jump into past life regressions. So welcome. I like to think of myself as a grounded and practical psychic medium. And through these episodes, I'm going to show you how those four words can exist together. All right, we're jumping into part 3 of our 3-part series on my past life regression QHHT session that I recently had done. If you haven't listened to the first 2 episodes, I'm going to pop episode number 1 up here. Go check it out. Start from there. And yeah, there's part 1, which is kind of before the appointment, all the synchronicities, everything that was lining up that brought me to book the appointment. Part 2 is the audio from the past life regression part of the session. And then today's episode is going to be the higher self connection. And there are some big revelations in today's episode. Before I start, I just want to say this audio has been trimmed up. There were a few things that I had to edit out that were incredibly personal to myself or my family, and I just didn't feel comfortable sharing here online. But I feel like even what I left in is still quite vulnerable to myself. So this is not an easy thing to share, but I hope through sharing my own experiences that I can encourage others to seek out a session for themselves. And I think there's a lot of growth and even reflection that can be offered through a QHHT session, not even like all the healing benefits that can happen, limitations, blockages, karmic cycles, like it can go on and on. But when I came into it, those were not the things that I was actually aware of that I could be looking for. Another thing that you're going to notice through this session is that I'm speaking in third person. So this is the conversation between the practitioner and the client. Oftentimes when clients are in this state and the conversation is coming from their higher self is going to speak about them as if they're out of the equation. I don't know how to explain it. You'll catch it when you start listening to the episode, but it's very normal for that to happen. It's actually the most common way for the session to flow in the second part. And then just a little bit, I wanted to share what it feels like. So the best way I could explain this part of the session is that I'm there, I'm aware, not everyone is, but I was, but I had no control of my mouth and I had no idea what my mouth was going to say. So it's like I'm sitting in a room and they're talking with my higher self and I'm just kind of like looking between them, listening to the conversation. And there are a few moments where in my mind during this session, my jaw was on the floor. Like I couldn't believe the words that left my mouth, and everything ties together in a really crazy way, in such a crazy way that when I reflected on the session after, I was like, there's no way I could have came up with the past life regression I did and then link some of the parts of my higher self into that past life regression. Like you're going to see what I mean. You're going to see what I mean. And it's jaw-dropping, some of the stuff that comes out. I hope you enjoy this as much as you enjoyed the last 2 episodes, and let's get into it. So this is us heading into the higher self conversation.
You chose to bring forward this life for her to see. Why did you pick this lifetime?
To show her what she's capable of.
And why is that important?
Because she's going to do it again.
What will she do again?
She will heal with her hands the same way she did in past lives.
And when will this begin, this healing work with her hands?
She has started the journey already.
Are there steps that she can take to move this process along that she needs to be aware of?
It is going to flow at the right times when it is meant to happen.
Right.
She is on the right path for this. She is experiencing everything that she needs to experience for this to occur. She just needs to be open for when it happens and to pay attention to allow it to happen and to trust what comes through and what she is feeling guided to do. No more decision. No more going against decisions. No more questioning. She is just going to trust what she needs to do and do it. Through that, she will learn how to do this again in this lifetime.
You mentioned that you wanted her to stop ignoring the signs and the messages. Has she been doing that?
Yes, sometimes.
Can you relay what those signs or messages are so that it is crystal clear for her to hear today?
She is receiving nudges and guidance to do things, and oftentimes she feels like it is not the time or aligned when she needs to do it, but it is the timeline that it is meant to happen, and she needs to just do it rather than not.
Is there anything specific that you've been guiding her towards that you want to make clear today?
Yes, she has some things that she has been thinking about, and she knows what she needs to do, but she feels like it is not the right time because she has so much going on. But when she starts doing this, everything else that is going on will become easier because everything will start to fit together. So she is actually slowing things down and pausing her timeline by neglecting to do these things.
I know that sometimes it can feel like she knows, and saying she knows is all that's necessary, but I'm having a really strong nudge myself to ask once again to say it out loud clearly. What are these nudges? What are they nudging her to? What is an action step she can take that you're wanting to guide her to?
She has her massage table. If she just pulls it out and puts Jeff on it and starts practicing, she will realize what she is capable of doing. She has been thinking about helping Jeff and working on his chronic pain, but she has been second-guessing herself. And we just want her to start feeling more connected and to just try it.
And this chronic pain that Jeff's been feeling, is there anything that she needs to know about that?
She will be able to make it go away.
Will this be with the use of the element of breath, sucking it out or pulling it out?
Yes, that is a part of it. There is also a shamanic part of it that she is going to explore and find for herself. And through that, she will feel the integration and the power within her body and her soul that each of us contain, but some of us choose to use more wisely. She is going to choose to use it wisely and be able to heal other people.
What is the root cause of the nightmares and terrors that Tabitha experienced as a child?
Much of it was processing. She wasn't able to process what was happening around her, and the energy and awareness that she was picking up was the energy around her, and she wasn't able to actually process it. For many people it goes away, but for her, for some reason, it did not go away. She stayed in tune, and it almost drove her mad.
What was the purpose of that experience? Because she chose that, right?
The purpose of the experience was to appreciate when she was able to have peaceful sleep. When she experienced peaceful sleep, she found peace within herself for a bit.
I want to continue with this sort of time in Tabitha's life where she was younger and she was having these experiences that are now blocked from her conscious memory. What occurred that has been blocked, that the subconscious that your self has blocked her from seeing?
Yes, she was able to see things at night. She saw a lot of things happening. She could see the other world. And unfortunately, through that, she was not able to tell the difference sometimes. And this would cause her to try and correlate it in her sleep, which would then cause those dreams. She was not able to shut off that perception.
Was this an important, let's call it training for her ability? Did these experiences need to happen?
Not necessarily training. It was an opening that happened early on in this lifetime. And her purpose this lifetime was to learn to open and close that door and that perception, and that it was always there. She always had control. She had to learn how to control herself before she could learn to control what is around her.
Is there anything else you feel is important to add to memories and experiences blocked out as a child that she's ready to hear now?
Yes, so there was nothing bad that happened to her. It was just the perception of what she was seeing, and it wasn't necessarily within her day-to-day life. It was what she was seeing at night. And it was very traumatic and hard for her. And this caused her to have these dreams and these sleeps and these sleepwalking. But nothing was to harm her. It was just hard for her as a young child to process everything. It's unusual for people to be so receptive and open at that age, and for it to continue as long as it did. She had to do what she did so that she would end up going and learning to shut it off. Through her appointments, she learned that she could shut it off. It wasn't necessarily through the person that she was talking to, but in the conversation something clicked and she was able to shut it off for herself. She will never recollect that. She will never know that, but it happened, and that moment was set up to happen how it did.
Is there anything about Tabitha's inner child little self that wants to come forward? Any unhealed aspects or shadow aspects that are ready to be revealed to Tabitha today?
Not necessarily shadow, but playful and fun.
Good, yes.
She needs to have fun. She needs to enjoy things. She has been very serious all the time, always through her life, with responsibility. And we want her to come back to that inner child and that fun and that play and that joy. When she fully envelops that part of herself, she will start to see the most purest joy within her life. But she must connect with that joy that she maybe felt like was not complete as a child and experience that as an adult. It will come. She is going to be on a journey that will take her places, and through these experiences she will find the joy that she desires and looks for, and it will all fit together and everything will make sense after.
This journey that she's about to embark on in her repurposed ambulance and traveling about with her partner, is this where the play comes in?
No, not necessarily. That is her human life. That is the things that she wants to do, that she feels will be fun. It all serves her higher purpose. It will all be good experiences. Some challenges, but that is normal. That is how we go through life. But she will go to places, and through these places have experiences. And it's not necessarily with the ambulance. She is going to do more exploration over the next 20 years than she ever imagined that she could. And through those explorations, she's going to go places where she's meant to be, to speak to people that she is meant to speak to learn new things that she is meant to learn. And through this experience, she will grow and develop and turn into that old woman once more that returns to dust.
Is there ways that she can incorporate play, joy, and laughter in the now moments that are coming? Tomorrow, today? What does her soul love to do, her little child self?
Unfortunately, right now, she is in a transitional period where finding the joy is going to be much harder for her. She enjoys being outside, and through those experiences, she feels that connection. Unfortunately, until she gets through this progression that she is in right now, it will be hard to experience joy because she is also experiencing immense amounts of grief.
What is that grief?
Losing all her parents.
Yeah. Acknowledging the heaviness of that grief right now. Can you hold her as she allows herself to feel it?
Yes.
Thank you.
The grief of 3 parents is a lot to feel.
Yes.
It will take her much more time than this to fully experience and let go of this.
Yeah.
This is part of that transition that she is in. It is going to take time.
Are there ways that you can support Tabitha in her dream space and while she's resting to support her grief?
We have been. She has been doing dream work the last little bit, and it's been very beneficial to her.
And this is a supportive process for her to continue?
Yes.
Can we talk a little bit while she's in this process? May I ask a couple of more questions?
Yes.
Thank you. Can you share with me a little bit about the importance and purpose of the relationship between Tabitha and her mother?
Yes. It's not as important as she thinks it is.
Okay.
That is why there has always been a disconnect. The soul lines just were not together for this lifetime. And even though she thinks that there's things there to forget or to forgive or to move through, there truly isn't. She just does not have the same connection to her that other people do to their mothers, and that is just the lifetime that she is in.
I respect that. So there's nothing further for her to do or to heal or to acknowledge?
Just to move forward.
Move forward. And forgiveness for herself as well, or for her mother?
More forgiveness for herself.
Are there ways that you can guide her that would be supportive for her to forgive herself?
She has already began the journey, and through experiences over the next bit, she will experience more, and she will have opportunities where she's able to move through this and forget some of those things that she is holding on to. It's not necessarily a forget, but a put down and let go and move on. But they're going to come in pockets through experiences that she will have these moments where it feels like it makes sense to do at that time. It's not quite the time of when she puts down all of these moments or memories that she holds on to. They will come in at a later time. There is no rush on our timeline. There is no time. There is no rush. Everything will happen as it's meant to happen.
I would like to ask now about the fears and phobias that the beautiful human Tabitha has in this lifetime. Can you shed some light on the fear that she has around deep snow? It causes a lot of panic and for her to go into a freeze state.
Yes, so she was suffocated in a past life, and she is afraid of feeling that again.
Yes. Is there anything else she needs to know about this past life suffocation?
There is no connection. It just holds this place within her mind that brings her back to that fear and that feeling, but there really is no connection, and she has the ability to just move past it. She just keeps digging and pulling at this string that comes out of nowhere that truly is not connected to where she is now. So we just need her to move past that, to let that string go. There's no need for it anymore. She is safe. She knows it. She is safe. It's an irrational thing that she keeps bringing up for herself.
Is it time for that thread to be dissolved today?
Let's do this.
Yeah. Let's do this. Let it be done. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is so curious to me, and I'm actually excited to ask about the folding edge of the paper.
Yes, so in the lifetime where Jeff was executed, there was a leather cover on the blade, and they rubbed their fingers on it before they removed it. And when she hears that sound, it brings her back to that feeling of losing him.
Oh. Wow. That runs deep.
This is all tied. Everything in her life is tied.
Yeah. I really appreciate how all the pieces of the puzzle are coming together for the bigger picture for her to see. Is this fear, this sensation necessary to continue?
Not necessarily necessary, but it's very ingrained in her. It's very hard to remove. It carries a very deep wound, a very deep trauma from a previous life.
Yeah.
So we have tried to gently pull off the Band-Aid on it and remove it, but she seems to hold on to it quite tightly.
Yeah, I understand that. Anything connected to loss of a loved one would be very challenging to really let go of. Do you feel that with this awareness now, even though she knew this already, but hearing it back will support her in letting it go?
We don't feel confident in that.
Okay. Is there a timeline, or is this even important, where she can let that connection go?
Unfortunately, it will be irrelevant in this lifetime for her. she will just learn to avoid it.
That's fair. Thank you. I appreciate the honesty. The other two were dripping sweat and skin cells under the nails.
Yes, so the dripping sweat has to do with the blood that was dripping from his neck and his head when his head fell off. She sees that all the time. Not necessarily sees it within her mind, but when she sees the sweat drip, it takes her back to this very strong memory. She holds a lot of ties to this lifetime, which is why we thought it was important to bring it up to her, because a lot of the things that affect her throughout her lifetime since that lifetime have all related to that lifetime. She definitely holds on to things very tightly in that sense, and that loss was very hard for her in that lifetime. Even though she would lose him many times in many different lifetimes, that one in particular sticks out for her.
So this is a love connection, a soul connection that has lived many, many incarnations together, her and Jeff.
Yes.
And you mentioned she's lost Jeff many, many times.
Yes.
Why is that?
He always passes before her. He tends to do things that are dangerous, and that is just his soul's journey. She is there to support him through his recklessness, but she doesn't always choose to participate in it. She values his perspective in life and how he chooses to live his own, although she may not always agree with his approach to everything. She very much values him and his soul, and their souls are very intertwined throughout many millennia.
What is the main teaching or reflections that they show to each other, that they teach each other over all those lifetimes?
Supportiveness, encouragement. They encourage self to be self for each other and understand each other's own journeys and experiences and value it. There is no changing the life path that you're on. It's just walking beside each other. So they choose to walk beside each other through many lifetimes.
And their daughters, are there soul connections as well in other lifetimes?
Their daughters are on their own journeys. They do come in through different lifetimes, but they seem to take more breaks. They're younger souls. They're on their own experiences. They do feel attachment to them as a soul, but not necessarily in a child's role all the time. They definitely have a soul group, and there is a few more others that pop in and out, but the strongest connection is actually between Jeff and Tabitha.
And Tabitha's soul, her spirit, where does she originate from? Is there a planet, a star system that she...
Yes, so she comes from Palladians.
And the Palladians, do they continue to support her energetically in this lifetime?
Yes, that is where she is going to find some of this ancient wisdom that is stored within her for healing. It comes deep through her. It's this knowing that she finds in every lifetime, and she will continue to evolve and help others evolve through this. We are in a transitional time right now where people are waking up to their own ancient wisdom at a high rate, actually, compared to what we have seen in previous centuries and millenniums.
I agree with you. There are so many waking up at an alarming rate. It's overwhelming.
Yes, so it's providing support to the newer souls, the newer experiences. You and her are old experiences. You and her have had both many lifetimes and journeys around this sun. So through this, you will be supporting others and helping others on this journey to find themselves and to be able to connect with their inner wisdom.
Thank you for that. Are there specific ways that Tabitha can connect with her Palladian peoples?
It is going to be through her breath work.
I love that so much. Is there a gift, an activation and knowing anything that you would like to give to Tabitha today or activate within Tabitha.
Yes, the seed has been watered today. It was planted a long time ago, but today is the true watering of that seed. She will see things start to change and progress quite quickly after this. It was important for her to have this reflection. Although she does connect with her spirit guide, she is not always fully connected to her higher self. We want to encourage her to build that connection more, because much of this information could have been delivered sooner had she set the intention to do that connection sooner. So now she knows where this is and how to reach us and what we have to offer to guide her and to help her. She will start to build this connection more, and that in itself will help progress the journey that she is on right now.
Is there anything before we close our session that you feel is of importance for Tabitha, especially in this next 6 months' time of her human journey, for her to know or be aware of?
She's going to have to just experience everything. Just experience it. Be present, be open, and be supportive to her family, because through this they will find the strength together to get through these challenging times. There are going to be more challenges that come her way, but nothing that they cannot get through. They have built such strength in this lifetime that truly nothing can separate them or tear them down, because they have the strength together to accomplish anything.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, that was a lot, wasn't it? It's kind of crazy to hear myself talk like that. I did pick up on a couple different, I would say, dialects in my voice, different tones and pronunciations. I picked up at least 3, so I don't know if, like, from what I've researched after, I think that that was my higher self counsel, and that there is different energies within my higher self counsel. Gosh, I'm trying to explain this, guys. All right, I wanted to recap a couple things from the session. One of the first things they discussed was healing Jeff and using breath work. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, but the past life, that is exactly what I did when I became, the older woman living in the hut in the village. I used breath to heal. So it was very interesting how that connected together. I'd love to give you guys an update on that, but I actually have not been able to start that. It's on my list, I promise. We sold our house. We're moving within a month, and actually less than a month now. So life has been a little bit hectic, but I am going to be doing that in fall, and Jeff is a willing participant, I will say. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the learning to shut it off. There's a point in there where I feel like there's a few details. I did have to snip out a few things in there. When I was 12, I was still having very bad dreams. I was having night terrors. I was sleepwalking. I've told this story before, and I was starting to hurt myself at night, and I wouldn't wake up. So I would walk off the top bunk. I went into the shower, and my mom walked in, and I was about to turn on scalding hot water. The problem was, while I was sleeping, I felt no pain. So oftentimes my mom would have to explain to me in the morning what happened, why my nose had blood coming out of it and my face was all scraped up, or, why I had bruises and cuts on me. Because sometimes I would rip dresser drawers out in my room. It was disruptive, to say the least, and harmful to myself. And that's what caused my mom to take me to a psychiatrist, because she was at her wit's end with me. She didn't know what was going on. She didn't know how to make it go away. And she was afraid that I would seriously harm myself in my sleep. Now, I went to the psychiatrist, I think for 4 or 6 sessions. I never remembered what we talked about. Maybe as a kid I did, I don't know. As an adult, I have zero recollection what we discussed, and I always wanted to know what was said that made all the dreams and the night terrors go away. And that's what was being discussed, where they said it wasn't necessarily something that was said at the appointment. It was a realization that I made during those sessions within myself, and that's how I was able to shut it off. So I just wanted to explain that one because I feel like all the details weren't there. The next detail, which I haven't really talked about on here and she mentions, is the repurposed ambulance. So I will drop it here. My husband and I purchased an ambulance in, I think it was 2022, and we completely gutted it and renovated it into like an off-road RV. And if you ever want to check out, we actually had a we have a YouTube channel. I just haven't put up videos in a long time. Life got crazy. I went through a spiritual awakening. I started talking to the dead and it just kind of became a last priority, but I'll drop a link down below to the YouTube channel if you ever want to check out that adventure. I expect that we will start posting videos on there again at a later point. Just right now, life's a little bit crazy. The next thing I wanted to touch on, and I just wanted to recap some of the things because I feel like there's some info that you can't pick up in the session. I have a couple phobias, and I always consider them to be kind of weird. The first one was deep snow that just came up maybe 4 years ago. It is an irrational fear of deep snow where I will literally have a panic attack and start crying and unable to function. And my husband and my daughter are like, stop it, you're being silly. And I haven't been able to gain control of it. So the true test will be this winter because through the session, my higher self was releasing that. So I'm actually feeling pretty confident. Even as I think about deep snow, I no longer get the reaction that I used to within. Even when I used to think about deep snow, I would get a reaction. So I think I'm going to see some improvement there. Now, the other two that are kind of weird, and I don't share this often with people because I can avoid them generally. So the first one is when people take a piece of paper and fold it in half and run their finger on the fold. So just that little sound literally short circuits my brain. It makes me want to faint. It's like, it makes, I don't know how to describe it. I feel like I'm going to faint. I feel like I'm going to throw up. It makes me feel really uncomfortable. And it's, yeah, I don't know where it comes from. So oftentimes if we're, at the bank or the lawyer and how they take the envelope and they run their fingers on it while they're talking to you, my husband will actually grab the envelope and just place it on the desk because he knows that I'm about to faint. So it's been really strange. It's something I can generally avoid, but it's a weird one. The other phobia that I have is sweat dripping from people's faces. So if I'm at the gym and someone's working out and the sweat is dripping from their chin or their face onto the ground, again, it makes me feel really sick. I feel really uncomfortable. I need to leave the situation. Like I will do anything to get out of that area that this person is in. So yeah, that one tied into it. And then another one that so she did say skin cells under nails, scratching people's backs, like even my kids can't do it. I didn't actually get an answer in this session, but that's fine. I feel like these other ones were probably my most important ones. And then one that I didn't even tell her, which Jeff said to me after and is absolutely hilarious. I have a fear of blood when it involves myself, my kids, or my husband. So if any of us get hurt, I faint. Like I stub my toe, I cut my toe, I cut my finger, my kids cut their finger. I'm passed out. I'm gone. I know it's going to happen. I usually start to just like sit down because I know I'm going to faint and I prepare myself for it. So Jeff just laughed. He's like, well, we didn't even have to ask the blood one. We now know why you have a fear of blood, especially with myself and my immediate family. And I think it links as well to that past life. So that was kind of that was a whole realization in there. And when those words left my mouth, where like the leather cover on the blade, I was like, what the heck? How does that all connect? Even with the sweat dripping from people's faces, and it reminds her of the blood that was dripping off his head. Like I can't even make this stuff up. That is not something that would be in my reality of what I thought, that phobia. I don't even know what my phobias came from, to be honest. I was so curious. I was like, I have no idea. These are so weird. They're like irrational. I lose control of like my body when these things happen. And yeah, all made sense. As soon as the session was over, I was like, wow, that's freaking deep. But it all made sense to me. Another thing I wanted to talk about is the Pleiadian. So I don't talk about this often because it wasn't in my belief system. So star seeds, planetary, I don't even know the terms to use all those because I still don't know a ton about them. They were a little too woo for me before. So when she slipped that question in, I was kind of like, where the heck did this come from? And then when I answered and said Pleiadian, I was like, what the heck is that? I've actually done some research after, and yeah, I'm looking into it. I'm expanding my belief system right now, but that really shocked me because I had zero interest in starseed type stuff before, but I definitely catch myself looking up little things here and there about it. That was kind of jaw-dropping for me, that the word even like, that my mouth was like blah, 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 and said it. I couldn't believe the words were coming out of my mouth. And then I just have a couple of last things I wanted to share. The seed has been watered. Things will progress after this session. The seed was watered that day through that session, and things have began to progress. So like I told you guys, I signed up for QHHT the next day, completed my level 1. I also signed up for BQH, which is Beyond Quantum Healing, which is online past life regression. And I've been able to integrate both of them already and start doing sessions with integration, which is so amazing. I've had online sessions, in-person sessions, absolutely love it. Progress really started to push after all of this, and I think it was important for me to do. I think it was important to start this journey now rather than waiting for, the next 6 months for our life to kind of level out again. But yeah, I can see it all now. So I just wanted to give some advice here that if there's something that you're sitting on and you keep thinking, yeah, I'll do that in 6 months, or yeah, I'll do that in a year, how about you just water that seed and start on it now and see where it takes you, okay? I'm gonna water the seed for you as well. And then the last part I wanted to discuss was the connection to higher self versus spirit guides. So at the end of the session, my higher self said that I had been connecting with my spirit guides, but that they thought there was value in connecting with my higher self and receiving this information. Now, since this session, this is again, how things can shift and change. I've started to connect with my higher self through meditation, and the experiences and the knowledge and the wisdom that has come through has truly been profound. So I do a little bit of a mix. I go to my spirit guides when I'm needing a little bit of life guidance. I find myself going to my higher self now for that deeper wisdom type stuff and path and journey. And yeah, it's been a experience that's unfolding. I don't even have words to articulate how much I've changed since this session and how quickly it's impacted me and the progression of my journey. It's actually, everything's just been really crazy lately. If I'm being honest, it's just been really wild. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this 3-part series. It was incredibly difficult to share such vulnerable stuff, such personal things to my life. I always see value in us sharing our experiences and our stories to help others that may be going through similar things. Actually, I want to touch on one more thing. The mother part, that's the last one I wanted to talk about. So my mom and I had I would say a troubled relationship most of my life. And after she passed, I really made sure that when she was sick, that she passed feeling loved and not alone. And we never really dealt with some of the issues, I guess you could say. And after she passed, I really wanted to just find forgiveness in my heart for her, that I could let go of any resentments or things that I held on to. And it's been a year and a half, and I still struggle with it some days. And again, this is just me being really honest about everything. And coming into that session, that was one of the questions that I had, is like, how do I find forgiveness? Like, how do I move past this? And what came through really made sense as well for me, where they said that our souls were just not aligned on this path. And that's why I have felt that disconnect, which I have felt that disconnect most of my life. So it really all made sense. And I don't know how that's going to sit with people, because I know a lot of people have ideas of what a family should look like and relationships should look like. And for some people, it's just not like that with their moms as much as they wish that it was. So yeah, that was a pretty personal part that was shared, but I wanted to also give you guys a little bit of story with it. So it's sat really well with me since that came through. It really has, rather than searching and searching within myself for something that maybe is never going to happen, I've just started to let go of it. And the funny thing is, I actually reached out to my mom in spirit a couple of weeks ago and had a really good conversation with her. So I think that is the part of healing, actually. And I'm like realizing this as I'm recording and speaking to you guys. I think that was the realization within me. So yeah. Well, thank you for tuning in. I hope this inspires you to seek out a QHHT session or BQH session, any sort of past life, quantum healing, hypnosis. I think there's a lot of value in them. I've had a lot of people reach out to me that have recently had sessions that shared their experiences or were signed up with people local to them. And I just can't encourage it enough for people. So yeah, all right. Well, I am going to let you guys go on that note. If you are interested in booking an online session, I am running a hybrid past life regression quantum healing session. They are 3 to 4 hours in length, and all you need is Zoom and some headphones with a microphone. So earbuds work well, headphones with a mic. I feel like most people have those. And yeah, and we can dive into your own past lives and higher self. All right, well, I'm going to let you guys go. I've shared a lot today, a lot more than I probably normally do about my own life, and I'm just feeling like I need to slink back into the darkness right now. Okay, well, thank you for joining me on this journey. If you don't already subscribe and follow my channel, please do so now. Don't forget to like or comment on this video. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts, because this was a wild experience. And yeah, just thank you for walking this path with me. And I really look forward to all the future episodes that we have coming up. All right. Well, I will see you next time on Finding Spirit with Tabs. Bye.